All right, we are up. We are up. Good evening. Good evening. Wasn't really planning on coming on, but I just felt like talking about boxing and jumping on real quick. It's gonna be a short live. I just wanted to address a few things, but before we get started, major shout out to Shakur Stevenson again for that great performance the other night, or you know what, last night. Great performance. I saw that he went back to Jamel Herring's dressing room the other night after the fight and basically, treated him with respect. You know, um, the whole friendship thing. I figured they were friends, but there are no friends when it comes to war. And at the end of the day, no one got badly hurt. And he went back to his dressing room and showed a lot of love and showed them a lot of support. I really was feeling that. All of the talking was basically there to build up the fight. But after the fight was over, Shakur showed him a lot of respect. I mean, people are going to say whatever they want to say and say, like, you know what? If he had lost the fight, he probably wouldn't have been as professional. But you know what? When people lose fights, they're going to be a little salty. It is what it is. Not everybody's going to react to a loss the same way. Sometimes some fighters need a little time, to come around, and that's cool. What's up with everyone that's coming in? Smash that like button on your way in. Soccer Training Club, High Tech, Mr. Julio. I'm sorry, Mr. Julio. Um, yeah. The late stream is totally random. I just wanted to jump on live and address a few things and move on from there. What's up, Hayes? All right, so look, the reason why I made this live because I wanted to address a few things. Right, first, I wanted to speak on Tank Davis and his comments and what they really mean, and I mean as far as the ticket sales and stuff, the comment he made about Teofimo Lopez at that presser the other day. He had his press conference with Rolly Romero, and when asked about Teofimo Lopez, he basically said that Tio he wouldn't fight Tio because Tio doesn't sell enough tickets, and this is the thing, like I like Tank Davis. I like him as a fighter. I think he's a very good. I mean, I've been supportive of him for a long time now, for a minute. I like watching him fight. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's an amazing talent. All right. When he fought Pedraza, I didn't even know if he was ready for that fight at that time. I remember when that fight was announced, and me personally at that time, I thought it was too soon. To be honest, looking back at it now. But when he won that fight and when he dominated the way he did, that put him into a different category for me. I know that's just one fight, but it put him in a different category for me. Since then, though, he started fighting a bunch of blown up guys from 126, missing weight, and not performing as well, like the Gamboa fight. But it is what it is. Um, but I still like him. I still like to watch him. It's just that since that fight against Pedraza, I haven't really seen him fight somebody that I felt was a real challenge and a real threat to him. You know, um, what's up, Charles? What's good? What's up, Devin? He hasn't fought anyone like I'm talking about the matchup itself. I don't feel like he's fought someone that was really challenging to him before the fight. Leo Santa Cruz, I know he was a multi-division champion. All right, won titles in a few different divisions. That's all good. But at 130, I didn't think he'd be much of a problem for Tank. I predicted Tank to knock him out. Even though he's never been knocked out before, I don't even think he's ever even really been dropped. But I just wanted Tank to fight someone that I felt was a real challenge to him. Now, when he beat Pedraza, that's when the Lomachenko talk started, right? Started then, especially when Loma came back from his surgery and didn't look as impressive against Pedraza as Tank did, right? Tank looked better, right? It was a better win for Tank. We could all admit that. But at the same time, like, it doesn't mean that because you perform better against the common opponent, it doesn't mean that you guys don't have to fight each other anymore. And I don't like when fans do that. I think we got to stop that as boxing fans. And we still got to get these fights going. So when Tank made that comment the other day about not fighting Teofimo Lopez, who holds 4 titles, right? In the 135 division, where Tank fights at, for him to say that he doesn't sell enough tickets to get a fight, but he's fighting, the guys that he's been facing, it's like, dude, this guy brings titles to the fight, you know, a lot of them, and you're too good to fight him. Now, I understand. Listen, if you guys want to keep everything in house, cool. But the problem with his fans is that this man is publicly saying we keeping it in house, and they're fighting whoever they want to fight. So if that's the case, let's not, when we're talking about like pound for pound and we're talking about who's the best in what division, if there's a fighter that's actually literally challenging himself and fighting the other best in that division, and then you have a fighter who I believe is really good, but he's not challenging the best in his division, I don't want to really include him in that space of who's the best. I mean, we're going to mention Tank all the time because he's talented. But as far as the people he's facing who he chooses to face. And listen, I'm not trying to stop his money. He does sell good amount of tickets. Like you can tell, you look in the crowd and you look at his crowd and you look at maybe a Josh Taylor, or you look at the crowd of a Devin Haney fight. It might not be as many people there. But I'm here for the fight. I'm not here for a ticket. I don't make videos on ticket sales. I don't update you guys on pay-per-view buys. I don't make those kind of videos because at the end of the day, I'm here for the sport. I'm here for boxing. I'm a fan of watching these guys fight. So if Tank retires tomorrow, I'm not a fanboy. If he retires tomorrow, I'm still here to love the support and support the sport. Now, the problem with what I have with Tank also is that when you say you don't have enough tickets, when one person says that, a lot of other fighters carry on and do it. Like newer up and coming fighters might come up and say the same thing. That's why it's so important for fighters not to say things like that, because when you say things like that, the next up and coming fighter is going to hear that and think that that's the way to move. Like a lot of these fighters, really, if we be honest, a lot of these fighters are Floyd Juniors, right? They didn't take the steps that Floyd needed to take to get to where he was, but they're coming out acting just like him straight out the gate without putting in that work that Floyd put in. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. I don't get mad at Floyd. I get mad because he influenced a lot of boxers in a positive way. But guys are acting like Floyd without having to put in the work. That's why I was upset when Spence said, you on the wrong side of the street, when we can easily get fights with different promoters between different networks. We get these fights all the time. Sean Porter is about to fight Terrence Crawford. We can get fights on the other side of the street. So once you said that, now everybody's saying he's on the other side of the street. We can't get this fight because he's on the other side of the street. If Spence never said that, the fans would never say that. No one would ever say that. But since Spence created that, he might as well trademark that line because he created it and everybody says it now. So when Tank says you don't sell enough tickets to a Teofimo Lopez who has 4 titles, or a Josh Taylor who's undisputed, when you say that, it's like the fans many of them are new. A lot of fans are new. A lot of fans are new or they're casual. So if they're new and they just checked out as Tank, like, I don't really watch boxing, but I saw a Tank fight. I like him. I'm going to follow him. And you follow him and you think that that's the way that boxing works. Nah, that's not the way that boxing works. That's the way that Tank works. That's not the way that boxing works. Most boxing fans want the best to fight the best. But most of these fans today, and not all of them are new, but a lot of boxing fans today are just a fan of the fighter itself, themselves. And, they're above all criticism. They could do whatever they want. Like Tank can fight anybody he wants, and people are going to support because they love him. And I have no problem with that. I have no problems with that. But let's not get delusional. Let's not get away from the truth here. The truth is he's not fighting the best. He didn't fight the best at 140. He didn't fight the best at 135. He didn't even really fight the best at 130. He didn't. These WBA belts, they're not the real belts. And a lot of people don't know that. They just want to see Tank. You know what I'm saying? So I think if boxers continue to say things like that and no one challenges them, it's going to keep going on and on. Let's say Keyshawn Davis, who's a lot of people's favorite prospect at the time, right? He's up there. He's one of the top prospects on the come up. He's not no top contender yet. He hasn't fought any champions on. But let's say when he gets to that point, let's say Keyshawn Davis says, "Nah, man, they ain't selling no tickets, man. There's not enough people in that crowd. People don't know him enough." And he might be saying that to the guy that's a champion. You get what I'm saying? And another problem with that is that even though Tank may be doing good numbers, there are people out there like an Anthony Joshua or Canelo Alvarez who really sell out stadiums, right? We're talking 50,000 plus people packed, multiple fights, selling out stadiums, and they're still fighting the best. They're still chasing the best. What if AJ said, "I'm not fighting Usyk. He doesn't sell enough tickets"? Would that be acceptable? Would that be acceptable? No, it wouldn't. He could have easily just gave up his belt and just avoided Usyk altogether. He didn't have to fight all of those guys he fought. He could have just picked every opponent he faced. He didn't have to fight any of his mandatories. And this is the importance of becoming a champion. You can't just fight who you want to fight. So I understand, like, Tank not having a major title, it removes him from that class of the top tier fighters that are actually defending their titles. Tank might possibly be better than Teofimo Lopez, but we can't just sit here as fans and accept the fact that they're not going to face each other when they're the two top fighters, two of the best fighters in the division. One is a proven top fighter, and the other one is just, we think he's a top fighter. If that's the standard of boxing, if that becomes a standard for everybody, none of the great fighters would fight each other. Make your money, yes. But you got to understand, you got to fight the best to be recognized as the best. Now, I know Floyd is a promoter now. All right. He's a promoter now. And that is his fighter. That is his investment. So he's going to back his fighters to do stuff like that. When Floyd says, "I'm keeping everything in house," he's doing that for his fighter. But you got to understand, Floyd didn't do that in his career. Floyd had to really literally fight the best to get to where he's at. These other fighters are not doing that. But they're acting like they're too good to fight the proven fighters, like a Lomachenko. Again, going back to Lomachenko, the Lomachenko talk started after the Pedraza fight. They could have fought back then. They could have fought back then. They could have fought after. Because I've had talks with people. I've read comments. There's a lot of people that think Tate can beat Lomachenko. But just because you think he can beat Lomachenko, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't have to fight. Just because he did a common opponent dirtier than what Lomachenko did to him doesn't mean they don't have to fight. I'm getting a lot of comments now, like from people that support Wilder, basically saying, all right, well, he lost to Fury, so Fury's better than him. Fury's better than him, but Wilder's still better than everybody else. And I'm saying, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I understand that Fury beat Wilder, all right? But it doesn't mean that Wilder is just second to Fury, and those two is just number 1 and 2, and the two of them don't have to fight any other heavyweight that's out there. Now, me as a boxing fan, not a fan of just 1 or 2 fighters, as a boxing fan, I don't care who you lost to. I still want you to fight AJ. I still want you to fight Usyk or Dillian White or whoever else is available that's at the top. I still want Luis Ortiz to fight somebody else other than Deontay Wilder. But a lot of fans right now are cool with, all right, you know what? These guys fought each other 3 times and they proved that they're the 2 best. No, those 3 fights only prove that Fury is better than Wilder. That's all that proved. That trilogy, all it proved is that Fury is better than Deontay Wilder. It doesn't prove anything else. Now, if you're going to put Fury as number 1, which I do, I think Fury is number 1. All right? But at the moment, he's number 1. He still hasn't defended his title against anybody else but Deontay Wilder. Both times he won the championship. I still want to see what he can do defending against his mandatory. I still want to see what he can do fighting guys like AJ or Usyk. You know, I want to still see these fights. The show doesn't stop just because of this trilogy. I was just saying this on Twitter. The show doesn't stop because of this trilogy. Yes, this trilogy was great. It was very entertaining. But all that trilogy did, besides give me good entertainment, was prove that Fury is better than Wilder. That's all that proved. You know, rating someone is different from actually fighting someone. Let me give you another example. Oscar Valdez. He started off the year with the best win of the year. It might still be the best win of the year because at that time, you got to remember, Miguel Berchelt was a heavy favorite. And most people felt that Oscar Valdez was going to get knocked out. On top of that, Oscar just moved to 130, and he didn't look that impressive at 130. So he's going to fight a KO artist at 130. Oscar went in there, dominated him, knocked him out cold, right? Knocked him out cold. So now he's the top dog at 130, right? But when he fought Robson in his last fight, who was a guy that none of us heard of before, what happened? He didn't look so good. He didn't look good at all. I'm not even sure if he won that fight. He got a gift in my eyes. So he went from beating or having the best win of the year to having one of the worst performances of the year by a champion, right? Now, Shakur Stevenson beats Jamel Herring last night. People are saying that Stevenson is the top dude at 130. Okay, based on that performance last night, I feel that, but I still want to see Stevenson actually beat Oscar Valdez because just earlier this year, I didn't even think Oscar Valdez would beat Miguel Berchelt, but he did. I remember having conversations last year when Stevenson first moved up to 130. Maybe not last year, but maybe, like around the time Stevenson was going up to 130. I wasn't sure if Burchell was the right fight for him at that time. I thought that was a dangerous fight for him at that time because Burchell was more experienced, more proven, and he had a big punch. But now things change. And this is why we can't just base everything off your last fight. You can't base everything off that. The fighters still gotta do what they gotta do. They actually still have to fight. We can't just settle with, oh, he beat this guy, so he's the best. Okay, yeah, at the moment, we might rate him to be the best, but these guys still have to fight each other. And why are fans getting away from actually wanting to see the fights? Like, where did that start? Don't y'all still want to see the fight? You know what I'm saying? We still got to watch the fight, you know? And this is why guys like Jake Paul and you know, the Paul brothers, for example, I expect the money talk or the ticket talk, I expect that from them. You know why? Because they're not real boxers. They are not ranked. They are not looking to fight a title. They are cash grabs every time they step in the ring. They are celebrities that can box. They are not professional boxers, world level, world class boxers. They are not that. So when they talk tickets or when they talk fame or when they talk pay-per-view buys, I expect that. I expect that from them because they're not here trying to compete with the very best. Even when Conor McGregor comes over to boxing, when he comes over, he's just visiting. He's not really here for the long run. He's just visiting. So if he talks, when he talks that talk about him being, you know, super famous and all that stuff, I would understand it from him. But I don't want to hear that from the super elite in each divisions, like guys like Tank or guys like Errol Spence. You know, I have a problem with that. And as boxing fans, we all should have even if you could still be a fan of Tank and just say like, nah, man, I kind of want you to fight. I want you to be the best. I want you to prove you're the best. You know, the whole Errol Spence and Crawford thing. Even with that, people will come up with their own theories. Spence actually said he's on the other side of the street. Spence actually told him to his face, I'm going to take the easy route and fight Sean Porter. He told that you guys can make up your theories all you want. At the end of the day, this guy said it on camera that he's not looking to fight Bud. Now, if you fight the people on your side, and I've said this and I've been consistent with this. Oh, the video quality, I don't know what's wrong with camera. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with the camera. Apologize. My apologies. I'll check it out when I'm done. But listen, going back to Errol Spence. Lost my thought. Lost my thought. Anyway, Errol Spence. The whole thing with that is, I think you should fight people that's on the PBC side first, because that's in-house business. If you got belts to collect over there, then do what you got to do. I'm cool with that. But if fighters are not available for you to fight, then I expect you to go and fight the other title holder that people want to see you fight. People want to see you fight Bud more than anybody. You get me? So that was my stance on that. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick, and I brought this up before, the Dillian White situation. Again, Dillian White is a WBC mandatory, right? He's the mandatory. He should be fighting Tyson Fury. This whole cancel fight thing, though, is corny. I don't like it because it's happening too often. All right. I get it. I do want to see Dillian White fight Fury. You know, I want that fight. I don't want to. I don't care to see him fight Otto Wallin. I don't. Especially if Otto Wallin were to win that fight, we would have to see him fight Fury again, and I'm not looking forward to that. So I'm gonna be honest there. But as far as the cancellation of fights at the rate that they're going right now, it's not cool. It's not good at all. And it's becoming the new norm. Fights are never happening. They're never occurring when they're scheduled. Every single fight is being rescheduled. Any notable fight right now is being rescheduled. And we can't deal with that. You know, this can't be the new norm for us. You know, and I think the more that it happens, like, again, I told you guys, I wouldn't travel for a fight right now. I just wouldn't do it. I'm not going to take my days off from work. I'm not going to purchase tickets. I'm not going to book hotels. I'm not going to book flights. I'm not doing it right now because these guys have to be consistent a little bit. You know, right now, every single fight is being canceled or rescheduled. And that's not right. You know, and listen, I don't know what the plan was with White. I mean, listen, if you knew, you know, I think that these guys just wanted to get another fight in before fighting Fury or Wilder winner. So I get that. But once the WBC made it officially mandatory, they figured, you know what? We should just go straight to Fury. So I understand that. But I think it's wrong because this guy is prepared. He's been in training camp preparing to fight you. That costs time. That costs money. You got to bring in sparring partners. You got to pay off your coach. You got to be in the gym working. You got to be doing all of this stuff to prepare for a fight that a guy can just say, well, I got an injury. I'm backing out. And I like the fact that Wallin is putting pressure on Dillian White. He wants proof. He's doing all these interviews now. He's putting pressure. He's not going to get the fight, but I like the fact that he's being vocal about it. You know, so I do like that. But at the same time, like, I don't want to see the fight. And I do believe that Dillian White deserves his fight. This is a voluntary fight. That fight with Wallin was a voluntary fight. It's not a mandatory fight. It's not a title eliminator. It's none of that. So on both ends, I want White to get his shot. But I do feel bad for Otto Wallin because this is happening way too much. Way too much. Fights are getting canceled left and right, man. And it just looks like it's all pre-planned. And it's just not good for the sport. It's not good. You know, I mean, I'm never going to tell you guys not to purchase tickets. I'm never going to tell you that. Do what you do. You know, if you're a fan, you want to go, do what you got to do. If it gets rescheduled and you're still going to go anyway, that's cool. Me, though, I'm not purchasing tickets that's not local. And if it is local, I'm purchasing them probably within a few days of the fight. That's just the way I'm rolling right now. You know? So anyway, I just wanted to speak on these two things. I don't know what's going on with the video quality. And again, I apologize. This is never a thing. You know, sometimes I have sound issues and stuff, but I just wanted to jump on live. It's really late. I just wanted to address those few things real quick. Again, I apologize for the video quality. I can't see it. It looks clear to me on my screen. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. Maybe it's something with the internet, but again, I apologize for that. All right. But I just wanted to address those few things. You know, and again, you know, like I said, even with the heavyweight division, I still want all of these guys to fight, man. You know, and this thing with the ticket sales and people addressing like the business too much, you know, guys like Leonard Ellaby telling like Josh Taylor, these guys, you know, they're not known or they're not selling any tickets. We don't want to fight them. None of Tank Davis opponents are selling tickets. All right, but I understand what's happening here. He's picking his opponents. Rolly Romero is a hand-picked opponent. He is a hand-picked opponent. He's in-house and they keeping it that way. Cool. But this is not no world beat. This is not a guy that's really proven like that. So yes, the other guys in the division, they're doing better. They're fighting better. Right now, they're currently fighting better fighters. So even if you think Tank is better, even if you think he's better, he's not proven he's better by fighting the people that he's fighting. He's not proving that. He's not proving anything. He's just making money. And I'm not trying to stop that, but let's not sit here and act like he's beating the super elite. He beat one really good fighter in Pedraza. He beat one excellent fighter in Leo Santa Cruz, but a guy that was not proven, he's a guy that moved up. You know? He's not fighting no one that's dangerous for him. No one really dangerous. And Rolly is not a guy that I think is dangerous. If Rolly were to beat Tank or find a way to beat Tank, that would be a huge upset. It would be a huge upset if he were to lose to this guy. We've been getting upsets lately. That would be a different level of an upset if Rolly Romero is a beat Tank. Even when Burchell got knocked out by Valdez, that's still, even that fight there is nowhere near on a level of an upset that Tank would be losing to Rolly would be. That is a different level of an upset. All right. Do I think Josh Taylor had an injury? I don't know. You know, that's the thing. I don't know if these guys have injuries. I don't even know. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's true. All I know is that it's happening too often. I don't believe all of these guys are injured. I don't know which ones are lying. I don't know which ones, you know, I don't think everybody had COVID. I don't think everybody had COVID. I think people has always fake injuries. You know? So I don't know what it is, but I just think that it's happening too often and it's not good for the sport. That's my only point. That's my stance on that. All right. And as a boxing fan, I just want to chill with it's just too much of the business talk. And if new fans are coming in the sport, they're coming in on this whole I sell this, I did this many amount of buys, I got this many amount of followers. That's another thing, the follower thing. I got many more followers. Like, you can't pay for those. Those can be purchased. People pay for subscribers. People pay for followers all the time. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't even mean that you're more famous, because you can have a lot of followers on Instagram and then in people in real life walking around, they don't even know who you are. They don't know who you are. Some people are more famous off the internet than people that are famous on the internet. Social media is just one thing. There are people that are complete nobodies and they have 1 million followers on social media. They have millions. People could walk right by them and not know who they are. You know why? Because a lot of people purchase those things. A lot of these fighters, I'm not really trying to hate. It's just that when it comes to boxing, boxing is not on the same level as fame as other sports. So a lot of athletes, there's levels of fame. And if you guys can't do 1 million pay-per-view buys, or even 500,000, or even 250,000, you're really not that famous. You're really not that famous. So I don't know, man. I just think the small talk, all this other talk is extra and it's not necessary, and it's getting corny. It's getting corny because that's all we talking about, you know? And a lot of people don't want to see fights because of it. They're like, oh, they don't even need to fight each other because this guy knocked this guy out, or this guy, he's too big. Got fans like, he's too big to fight this guy because he's more famous. Like, co-signing it. That's corny. All right. So anyway, I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a good night, man. Again, I'm sorry for the freeze up with the video. All right. But listen, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all in the next couple of days. All right. Peace.